Yeah, I see Simha over in the.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Hi, Austin.
Hello.
I apologize for joining you late.
No worries.
Are we at quorum? No.
I think we are.
We
Yeah.
are at quorum.
Okay.
And then Taj and I are gonna keep an eye on the attendees list to make sure folks, if they're in public, do that. But if you want to begin, Simha, floor is all
Yes,
yours.
please. Let's go for it. Thank you. And
Somehow you're muted.
I think Paula and Ben said they would not be able to make today's meeting, just FYI. But go ahead and get started whenever you're ready, Austin.
We are starting. It's all you.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I apologize for the late start. I now call this regular meeting of the KCRHA Implementation Board to order. And I'd like to start by grounding our work in our theory of change, which is that if we create a homeless response system that centers people with lived experience, then we will be able to focus on responding to needs and eliminating inequities in order to end homelessness for all. So this is a hybrid meeting, as all our meetings will be going forward. So there's a physical location as well as virtual access. And I want to take a moment to thank both the Mayor's Office and City Council for allowing us to be stationed in Seattle City Hall and using that space. Austin, would you please take the roll?
Yeah, absolutely. Member Anderson,
Present.
member Caminos,
Here.
member Carvalho, member Shelmanat, member Shelman. Oh, camera.
I'm here.
Hello, member Merritts. Member Merritts. Member Spotted Elk.
Present.
Awesome, Juanita, glad to see you in here. Member McHenry Jr.,
Present.
member Patno.
Here.
Member Brandon. Member Brandon. Chair ready.
Present.
Member Rankin
Here.
and member Ross.
Present.
Quorum is recognized with 9 present members.
Thank you. Thank you, Austin. Next, I'd like to make sure that we acknowledge that King County is located on the unceded traditional land of the Coast Salish people. We honor this land and its people, past and present, and we're committed to directing funding and resources to organizations led by and in support of Native and Indigenous people. So at every meeting, we do reserve time for public comments, and if you'd like to provide comment, please raise your hand in Zoom or sign up here in City Hall or there with Austin. And Austin will call on you in order after the consent agenda. We have a total of 15 minutes allotted for public comment with 1 minute allotted per person. Next on our consent agenda is the approval of the minutes from, or next on our agenda is approval of the minutes from our June 2023 IB regular and special meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Gordon McHenry, so moved.
Do we have a second?
Christopher Ross, second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. The minutes of the June 2023 IB regular and special meeting are approved. Thank you. Next up, so just briefly for the public, we're going to have our CEO update followed by our public comment. We will complete our officer elections with the election of our co-chair A position. We will then subsequently vote on a resolution to hold our officer elections in February. review and renew, authorize a lease for KCRHA, discuss the LEC hotel program ramp down, and then have updates from our clerk, Austin. Helen, thanks for joining us, and turn it over to you for our update.
Thank you, Simha. Good afternoon. It's nice to see everybody. I have just a couple updates for you today. First, we have hired 3 new staff members to help manage some of our key functions. Please join me in welcoming Deputy Chief Program Officer Beth Lazar, Interim Chief Financial Officer Bill Reichert, and Interim Human Resources Director Karen Williams. Each of these new staff members fills an essential role and will help make our operations stronger. As we continue to move through this time of leadership transition, we are also providing training to all staff on change management. Our Continuum of Care Board has also undergone a leadership transition. The Continuum of Care elected new board members at their meeting last month. They also adopted an updated charter, which serves as their bylaws, and the group will now start focusing on this year's application for federal funding. At the state level, we continue to have productive conversations with Governor Inslee about the success of the state right-of-way work and how the state can be supportive in the future. We've also shared with our local service providers that the full reprocurement of contracts will occur next year and impact the 2025 contracts. The reprocurement is the path to significantly improving our crisis response system. But first, we have to make sure that we have the internal capacity to manage the rebid process well, and we have to work with service providers to ensure that both the process and the goals make sense. Finally, I want to thank all of our staff members and partners who worked hard over the past 3 months to move people out of the Lived Experience Coalition hotel shelter program and into more stable situations. Our Chief Program Officer, Peter Lynn, will be giving you more details on that work later in the meeting. Thank you all for your time and support, and I will hand it back over to Austin for public comment.
Awesome. So as it stands, nobody is in Seattle City Hall, just me. And I have 2 people on Zoom. If you do want to speak, please make sure you raise your hand. Just got a 3rd. Awesome. And we shall begin once the timer's up. Perfect, sweet. First one up is Anitra Freeman. Anitra, just gave you permission to talk. If you unmute, you want to test it, and then your 1 minute will begin shortly.
Thank you. We, Women in Black, just stood for another 20 homeless people who died outside or by violence in King County. This year's total is now 162, 32 of those women. In the same period last year, that number was 11. It has tripled. We need action now. 2 actions you can help push forward now. Add your voice to extend Seattle's winter eviction ban to include encampments, bar sweeps during winter and extreme weather events. Add your voice to call the Burien City Council to accept King County's offer of $1 million and 35 modular units for a tiny house village and shelter people. Burien has no emergency shelter now. 2 homeless women in Burien died without shelter in June alone. Without shelter, people die.
Thank you, Anitra. Next up, we have Bill Kerwin-Hackett. Bill, you should have just gotten permission to speak. If you want to unmute, test your mic really quick, and then your minute will start shortly.
Thanks, Austin. I'm speaking on behalf of the King County Regional Homeless Authority Vehicle Residency Group. I would really like to have more than a minute just to finish my comment, but it'll be less than 2. I direct the Interfaith Task Force on Homelessness. Last year, we presented to you regarding those living in vehicles. While it's still underfunded considerably, there are more funds being made available. But there's another side to mitigating harm that resides with the jurisdictions regarding the ongoing enforcement of laws without agreements to perform outreach prior to harm. I just did a public records request for impounds in Seattle from January to May of 2023. I singled out the likely lived-in vehicles, excluded impounded passenger cars, and the effort resulted in 1,452 vehicles impounded. And considering a factor of 1.7 per vehicle, as we did for pit counts, that's more than 2,400 people passed onto the streets into unsheltered homelessness in 5 months because of law enforcement acting without collaboration with outreach
Bill.
first protocols.
Your 1 minute is up. Thank you. Next up is Jaja. Jaja, just gave you permission to talk. You want to test your mic first, and then your 1 minute will start after you speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can, Jaja.
Thank you so very much. I would like to know why we are not recognizing alternates. I was confirmed by the GC as an alternate, and now I no longer am. I have been at all the meetings up until this point. I feel like it's unfair, and I feel like it's a way to silence the lived experience voice. I'm not understanding how we're getting the work done if we don't work together. I'm here to work together to get the work done so those living outside can come inside. And that is my point. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Jaja. Sarah, that is all I have for hands raised in Zoom. And again, I'm the only one in Seattle City Hall, so no one in person.
All right. Can you hear me? Thank you, Austin, and thank you for those who came to give comment. Regarding alternates, I do want to make sure we take a moment to just follow up on that, Jaja. As of May, when we pass the board bylaws, it requires our alternates to be approved by both the advisory committee and governing committee. The Austin can fill you in as well on this. And currently we're awaiting confirmation of 2 members who are approved by the advisory committee. I believe it's Felicia Salcedo and Marvin Futrell for confirmation next week with the governing committee as alternates for the Lived Experience Coalition, or for the seats of lived experience. Sarah, I see you have your hand.
Thank you. Yeah, I just am again confused about the procedure. I don't need to go through all this because I also sent it in emails, but it's my understanding the way that alternates are being handled is sort of being retroactively applied. We've talked about what the procedure has been with respect to Okisha being recognized by this board as participating as a primary member. Jaja has been participating for months, you know, as an alternate, and also went to the board retreat. She's participated in a number of subcommittees, as you yourself have acknowledged, Chair. So I find the retroactive application of this to feel unfair, especially given how hard the folks with lived experience are working to try to deal with a very convoluted coordination and communication between the committees. So I don't want to belabor it. I know the KCHRA is taking the position it's taking, but I really hope that better coordination, clearer communication, more equitable empowerment and elevation of our partners with lived experience will start to become what the KCHRA actually embraces, instead of just saying it as a theory of change.
Thank you for your comments, Sarah. As you note, our staff have reviewed this, have put together a memo regarding this issue, and that will be available, both has already been made available to you and certainly to the public. And I would very strongly encourage, you know, as we mentioned, that if you have concerns around this as well, to talk to your governing committee colleagues who help shepherd this process through. But I'd like us to move on with our agenda. We are going to move on to a discussion of our So elections for our final executive committee position, which is the co-chair position A. This is a co-chair position that has laid vacant since Harold Odom's departure last year. And the preference per our bylaws is for someone with lived experience to fill this position. Do we have any nominations for this position, co-chair position A? Christopher?
I would like to nominate Paula Cavallo.
Yeah.
Give me.
I hear a nomination for Paula Carvalho. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Damien.
Are there any further nominations? Paula Carvalho has been nominated. Okay. Hearing none, we will hold a vote for this nomination for Paula Carvalho as co-chair position A. So members, please state aye in favor of the nomination when called upon. Austin, can you please do a roll call vote?
Absolutely. Member Anderson, yes or no?
Yes.
Austin, can you?
See, member Spotted Elk has raised the chair.
Doesn't he have to accept?
No.
No.
And she has also asked via email to the board that she would like to run for this position, confirmed with her today just to double check that was still the case. But thank you for raising that point, Juanita.
Can I continue?
Please do.
Member Anderson, I recorded yes. Is that incorrect? Perfect. Member Caminos,
Yes.
member Shelmanek,
Yes.
member Spotted Elk,
I abstain.
member McHenry Jr.,
Yes.
member Patno,
Yes.
Chair Reddy,
Yes.
member Rankin,
Yes.
and finally member Ross.
Yes.
Paula has been elected to co-chair position A with 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 abstention.
Thank you, Austin, and thank you, board. Excited to have Paula as the co-chair. And our next item on the agenda will also refer to our executive committee. So we now have a resolution 2023-10, which establishes the month of February as when we will hold elections moving forward. As it will also establish an election process with the chair pro tem. The practical effect of this is that it will also shorten the duration of this election's term. So people serving on the executive committee now will serve up until February, until the new election. Do we have anyone, would anyone like to make a motion to approve this resolution 2023-10?
John Shelmanek, I'll move to approve the resolution.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Oh, thank you, Nate. Is there any discussion regarding this resolution?
This is Pastor Anderson. I had a question. When was this presented?
Austin, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, Pastor Anderson, this was originally presented last month. We had a little bit of delay with legal review on it, so it came on the day of the last IB meeting, but we just decided to push it to this one. It was in your packet that was released about a week ago. If you also want, I'm happy to share my screen so everybody can see it. But that it has been at minimum a week since it's been there, but it has been floating around the board for about a month.
Thank
Austin, would you, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carrie. Austin, would you go and put it up on for us. And also I note that Okisha is in the public meeting, and if you could promote member Brandon to the panel. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me share the screen really quick. Let's get all the Adobe stuff out of the way. Awesome. So here is the whereases and now therefores. I will get member Brandon in here.
All right.
Oh, Gordon here. Could, Chair Reddy, could we have, Austin scroll down just a little bit?
Please do. This helps clarify our bylaws and ensure that we have regular elections without delay moving forward.
So, Mr. President, I was just concerned that the bylaws aren't going to be in conflict with this new proposed resolution. Is that correct?
That's correct. But Austin, would you mind commenting as well?
Yeah, so this would not contradict with anything in the bylaws. This simply adds pretty much specifying exactly when the elections will have. There was no specific time or date other than terms were a year long. So this establishes February as the election month for this board. And then there's also no process in the fact of if somebody was running who would run the elections. We kind of defaulted to Robert's rules on that, where we elected a chair pro tem, who was John Schomack in this case. Thank you, John, for that, by the way. And that is basically all it is. So it's just going to add things. It's not going to contradict with anything. And we have this over legal review.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So filling in a gap we had in that bylaw. Further discussion, other comments, questions about this amendment?
This is Anderson. I call for the question.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry, Pastor Anderson, did you have a further question? Yeah.
I call for the question.
I'm not quite sure what you mean. Sorry.
You're ready to vote now.
Oh,
Are
okay.
you
I'm
calling
sorry.
for a vote, Mr.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize. Misunderstood. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. Let's move forward, Austin, with the vote.
Awesome. We'll do roll call. Member Anderson, yes or no?
Yes.
Member Caminos?
Yes.
Member Schomack?
Yes.
Member Spotted Oak? Member Spotted Oak? I'll come back. Member McHenry Jr.
Yes.
Member Patno.
Yes.
Member Brandon. Member Brandon. We'll come back. Chair ready.
Yes.
Member Rankin
Yes.
and Member Ross.
Yes.
I'm going to go back one more time. So I ask for a third. Member Spotted Elk. And Member Brandon.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Chair, the motion for resolution 2023-10 passes with 9 yeas, 0 nays, and no abstention. But 3 non-presents. That's the word I was looking for.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it. All right, we will go ahead and move forward to the next item on our agenda, which is a presentation and introduction to resolution 2023-06. Which would allow CO Helen Howell to sign a no-cost lease with King County for their office space. So if we can, I believe Meg Barclay is going to be providing that presentation from staff for us.
Yes.
And Austin, would you mind just checking in with member Spotted Elf to make sure she's not having technical difficulties?
I will, yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, so this is a pretty straightforward item. As provided for in the interlocal agreement, the King County provides the Regional Homelessness Authority with space in a county-owned building at 400 Gessler Way in downtown Seattle. And this lease just codifies the terms of our occupancy of that building through December 31st, 2024, which coincides with the end of the ILA, the current version of the ILA. The value of the lease for the different years of the lease is provided for in the document, and we would update our budget to reflect these numbers going forward. This is an in-kind lease, however, so we recognize this as revenue in kind basically as the value of this contribution to the RHA in our budget, but it is not provided as cash. We have, as part of the lease, King County Information Technology also provides the RHA with internet service within the building. And this would, at no cost to the RHA, which would continue through the end of the term of the lease. We worked on this with our legal counsel. They've reviewed and recommend approval. We also would just note, well, yeah, so that's the gist of it. If there's any questions.
Questions from the board? I'll ask for a motion in a second, and if there's any further discussion after that point, that can be offered at that time as well. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 2023-06?
So moved.
Do we have a
McHenry.
second? Thank you.
Anderson, second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion regarding this resolution to authorize an in-kind lease with King County? All right. Let's just, all those in favor, we'll do a voice vote unless anyone objects. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Resolution 2023-06, authorizing lease with King County, passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Thanks for coming and talking with us, Meg.
Of course. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
And I believe next we have we're going to have a briefing from Peter Lynn, our regarding the hotel program ramp down. Peter, are you with us? You know, it's a little bit earlier than you expected.
I'm here.
Great. All right.
Good afternoon.
I'll turn it over to you.
Sorry. Good afternoon, Chair Reddy, board members. I am Peter Lynn, Chief Program Officer for the KCRHA AUC HIM pronouns. Wanted to briefly summarize the closeout of the emergency hotel program, which wrapped at the end of June. As you're aware, at the end of March, it was identified that a local hoteling program operated by the Lived Experience Coalition under a federal grant program was almost out of funding, and the people temporarily sheltered by the program were in jeopardy of returning to unsheltered homelessness. KCRHA activated for emergency response at that time and worked closely with our service providers, both those that are funded under contract with us and many that are not, and other public and private partners to ensure a safe outcome for all of the assisted households. Also worked closely with our public partners to ensure that safe outcome. Funding partners at King County provided $750,000 in local funding, and the state legislature approved up to $6 million in right-of-way funding through the end of June, which is the state fiscal year, to help us step down the program in an orderly manner. KCRHA staff and our service providers met daily to coordinate the work, establish a by name list of who is in the impacted programs, and move the work forward. Staff from our system advocates and partner organizations were on site daily. Also, just want to take a moment to recognize the extraordinary contributions of numerous partners in that response. Those organizations included Urban League, Salvation Army, PDA, REACH, Recovery Navigators, Peer Kent, Neighborhood House, REWA, Catholic Community Services, DESC, YMCA, Mary's Place, and Destiny's First Transportation Services. Rebel X helped us negotiate a better rate at an additional site to help consolidate the most vulnerable folks into a longer term location. And there were a number of other organizations that stepped up with supportive services, including the library system of King County, Emergency Feeding Program, Essentials First, CWA, Spice Bridge, United Way of King County, the Renton Lions Club, Renton Nourishing Network. We had a response for support from Hope Inc., Project Feast, For Tomorrow, Farmer Frog, and Help Points. Numerous community-based organizations, many of which are not funded by the RHA, stepped up and participated in this response. Hotel residents were connected to the resources that met their requested needs. Obviously, that included housing connections in housing programs and other temporary programs, but it included connections to inpatient substance use treatment, safe placements for survivors of intimate partner violence, connecting veterans with their housing vouchers, and numerous other things. Community-based organizations delivered food. They found replacement oxygen bottles for folks. They found toys. It was just a widespread, really deep community response to support the people in this program. Early days of organizing the response, we collectively identified several particularly vulnerable categories of households, including those with young children, seniors, and medically frail individuals. Over the course of the program, there were hundreds of households helped. We got collectively the effort got 32 households into permanent housing, 58 households moved into other shelter or temporary locations. Many folks worked out their own arrangements. Some people went back to family or friends, they moved on to other locations, and just changing some names around, but to tell the stories of some of the folks that we worked with. There was 68-year-old woman, call her Sarah, African-American, in-home caregiver who lost her housing 3 years ago when the patient she cared for had suddenly passed away. Found low-income supportive housing for her. It was a family, call them headed by Ernesto and Valerie, finally able to enroll their 2 children into school after our system advocate team found appropriate and affordable housing for them. A disabled veteran called Doug, who lost all hope of finding a permanent home for himself and his dog, is connected to resources that welcomed him and Charlie into his new home. It was at the end of the program, there were so funding ran out of June. We had to close out the program. At that point, all of the households have been connected with resources. There were a handful of households that declined offers of placement back into shelter. So there were 4 households that acknowledging that the resource program had done and acknowledging that the funding for the room had closed out. All of the other folks had been placed into temporary other locations. I would say it was a truly inspiring moment of collaboration across the community and many different service providers coming together to assist. It was extremely helpful that the county and the state came through with one-time funding to assist with this purpose and allow for an orderly step down. We're also able to reimburse organizations for the one-time costs, overtime and other things for that purpose. And I think while it was exhausting for staff and put an extraordinary pressure on all of the parties involved, it also showed a tremendous, coming together of community members.
Thank you for that overview, Peter. I'll hold my questions for a moment. Questions from the board regarding this program? See Member McHenry?
Yeah, appreciate this update, really important work, and really appreciate the regional authority and Peter specifically identifying the numerous other organizations that participated in resolving this challenge. So I think that's really appropriate and aligned with the how we're organized and regional efforts. Lots of people involved to address a regional crisis. My question is there anything continuing, any expectations or obligations of the regional authority continuing now that this program has been ramped down?
At this point, we've connected those households that accepted service connections with shelter and with rapid housing placements, other sorts of connections. The system advocate team is back focused on the Partnership for Zero efforts, and there at this point the rest of the crisis support, the homeless crisis response infrastructure is in place for those people that accepted service connections. So not an ongoing commitment from the RHA.
I see Member Brandon next with a question.
Yeah, one of the things that I did want to say, because I heard, all the, getting people housed and, after the program and, all that stuff for getting help and offering that support and all those things once, everything that did pan out. But what I don't want people to forget is, and I'm not saying we're the only ones, I'm speaking on behalf of LEC, but and then also for myself, was to not implement the piece of it was more than just getting people sheltered in those hotels, but not to undermine the relationships that we built with those individuals and those families, and the hope that we gave them and the foundations to use their voice and to trust us. Those are pieces that often are underlooked and thrown out when we're talking about just housing. Even though we have these conversations all the time, those are still things that people disregard. LEC built friendships, trust, relationships, bonds with these individuals and these families. So it's not just about housing, it's support, it's finding value within yourselves, finding humanity within yourselves, finding community. A lot of that was lost during that time period when all that stuff went down. So as much as we can, praise and say our hallelujahs and stuff, those are good things that happened, in the midst of something that was awful, but we can't hold too much pride on some of the things that were lost you know, a lot of integrity, a lot of things that were out of our control that we built up as OC, you know what I'm saying? So I just, you know, I want to mention that because when we get on these boards and we're invited in these spaces, those are things that we raise up. And everyone's like, yeah, well, I'm happy you brought that up. But when things crumble, those are the very things that we leave out. We put a lot of time and emotion with these people, with our unsheltered neighbors. We built community. We built smiles and gave them hope and empowered them in ways that in things that they've lost for years. So we cannot count those things out. And that's what we continue to do because, you know, we talk about just the housing, oh, we're able to give them this, not, and then what? You know, so please continue to shed light on those values as well. Because those are things that matter. Those are things that keep people in their house that wanting to be housed, is know that they still have that ongoing support and that they trust the people that are helping them. If you don't trust the hand that feeds you, you're not going to eat that food, right? So remember that it's more than just, oh, we're offering you help, we're offering you housing. It's the people behind it that matters. And we spent a lot of time building those bridges and those gaps. And so don't forget that.
Thank you. I will say that it was remarkable how effectively the organizations collaborated together, regardless of whether they were funded providers. And the organizations that were working with those households stayed with and made sure that there were really effective connections with the funded resources that were available.
Thank you, Member Brandon. Peter. Member Rankin, I saw your hand up a bit ago. I don't know if you still, okay. Other comments or questions? I'll, Peter, I know you've been providing numbers to us in writing, but I think for the public it might be helpful. Could you just review for us what were the numbers in terms of the number of people at the initiation, people placed, put in, some sort of other shelter, and number of people lost to follow-up, or sort of. Yeah.
So in the first few days, there was sort of organizing on the ground and understanding how many people were enrolled and how, what the numbers were. And the numbers fluctuated in those early days as we identified people who might be assisted through this program, might not be assisted. I think at the highest point, we had identified somewhere in the order of 150 households, somewhere in the order of 200 individuals. Many folks in those early days simply self-resolved and essentially left the program and were lost to follow-up. And the outcome was unknown for those, and that was in the early stages of identifying who was in that. That is not uncommon for programs, and particularly in this case, even understanding how many people were involved and who was involved was a challenge at the beginning. Over the course of the engagement, there were 32 households, as I said, moved into permanent housing, and that's 53 individuals in those households. 58 households have moved into shelter. Some of those may have moved on to housing, but the relocation from this program, and that's 122 people. And then over the course of it, 77 households left under their own choice, and that is a variety of outcomes, including people relocating back to family, people moving back in with friends or other housing arrangements, Some of them are just unknown destinations. So they may have moved back out to unsheltered homelessness. They may have moved out to other programs. We just don't know the outcomes.
Thanks, Peter.
That's never what you want from a data perspective, but it's not uncommon.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. The other question I had was, there's a lot of time and effort put into this, both in KCRHA staff, but also out in the community. What lessons do you feel like you're drawing from this? What are you going to do different moving forward, I guess, in terms of coordination with other?
Yeah. So our colleague Alexis is going to be working on an after action analysis, and I think that what I would prefer to do is wait for the outcome of that. I will say that as I said, it was really inspirational collaboration between partners, regardless of sort of who got funding and who didn't. It was very helpful to be able to fund overtime and additional care and assistance for folks, but community-based organizations stepped up regardless of that, and that was, I think, truly inspiring. I think there are any number of lessons learned, but it would be, I think, could I request that we come back with that?
Of course. Thanks, Peter. Other questions or comments from the board? All right, Peter, thank you for joining us today to review this with us. Next on our agenda, Austin is going to provide some updates for the board as a whole. And actually, one thing, Austin, in your updates, can you also remind the public of how to reach us as a group if people want to send public comment to us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Sweet. Hello, everyone. For the clerk update, I just want to remind everyone that committees will be starting shortly with more information coming soon. I'm still waiting responses from some members on their preferences for committees. If you have submitted them, thank you. If you have yet, please do. Also, as a friendly reminder, we have the Systems Planning Committee, the Budget Committee, and then the new Board Development and Communications, or as I like to call BevCom for short. In addition, we are working with staff to ensure the committee meetings will be held at this time frame every week, but rotating based off what committee. So it would be Wednesday from 2 to 4. Again, that will be all information given to you all shortly once we get it all ironed out. In addition, I know we have been having some issues with the Microsoft migration as of late. So I am working with the operations team to see what we can do to mitigate those issues. I am also waiting to I also want to remind everybody to check their emails frequently once access has been established, as well as just follow all rules and policies regarding emails and communication. And then I also wanted to flag too, I did recently send a doodle poll out to fill out to meet with the Ombuds office to go over the charter. So please fill that out when you are able to. And then finally, and then soon to be finally, I want to extend an invite to all board members. If there's anything that I can do to help you in your service on this board, I am happy to help. A lot of you have some great, meaningful conversations. Love our, seems to be bi-weekly phone calls at this point. I've been having a good time talking about that, but feel free, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything at all. I'm happy to help. And then if for the members of the public who are on this call, if you do want written public comment or anything like that, please send it to my email. I'll be putting it in chat as well. It is austin.christofferson@kcrha.org. It is also plastered everywhere on the website under the boards and public records, but mostly boards. So you can just click the little thing. You go to the implementation board on the website, click it, send it my way, and I will give it to the implementation board and send you a confirmation as soon as possible. A member of the public just did this during the meeting and I sent it to all the members already. That is all that I have for now. Chair ready, I yield my time to you.
Thank you, Austin. I really second reaching out to Austin for any questions, like any, or just reaching out to him generally to get talk through your board experience to make sure that it's going as well as it possibly can. He has been a huge help and asset and getting us moving a little bit more smoothly. Any questions or comments for Austin? All right, my friends, then I am going to, it is an hour early, and I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn. Sorry.
So
Move to
moved.
adjourn. I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Friends, we are adjourned, and the next meeting of the implementation board will be held on August 9th, 2023. We will announce the physical location on the KCRHA website. And also, please don't forget there's a governing committee meeting next Thursday, so keep your eye out for that as well on the website. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for facilitating.
Absolutely.
So, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the afternoon.
You too.